In this video, we're going to look at an outrageous statement at the beginning of Mark's Gospel that tells you that you are intensely loved by God. Hi, I'm Don Egan. I'm the founder of RSVP Trust, where lives are transformed and the poor are empowered. And this is the Portable Jesus. The opening line of St. Mark's Gospel says, the beginning of the good news of Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. And to us it sounds quite innocuous. It's just telling us that this is the start of the story, but that isn't what he's saying. I was recently hiking along Hadrian's Wall in the north of England with the family. It was once the edge of the Roman Empire. When we arrived at Howstead's Roman fort, the wind and the howling gales and just the bleak landscape made me wonder what on earth were people all the way from Rome doing here in this part of Britain. It amazed me that an empire centred in Rome stretched this far into the north of England. That was until I looked at a map of the Roman Empire. They had conquered Europe, the Middle East and much of North Africa. They were a very religious people who'd mixed their pagan religion with Greek mythology. They were confident in their power and they assumed everyone would benefit from being Romanised, even if it was against their will. As new places were conquered, heralds were sent into the newly acquired lands and proclaimed, "Good news, Caesar is Lord." The idea being that everything would be better under Roman rule, whether you wanted it or not. Any resistance to the invasion would be met with brutal and deadly force, and any suggestion of an alternative kingdom would be high treason indeed. Such was the confidence of the Roman emperor that his image was stamped on the coins and the inscription stated that he was the Son of God. He was God. You can't argue with God. The Jews in Judea at the time of Jesus encountered the same indignity. As they were overthrown, the heralds came and announced, "Good news, Caesar is Lord." And the coins showed a picture of the emperor and declared that he, Caesar, was the Son of God. After 3 years of Jesus' ministry and his execution at the hands of the Romans, the community he founded was growing. One convert to this new portable faith was a man named Saul, who had formerly persecuted the followers of Jesus. After a dramatic encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus, Saul changed his name to Paul and became one of the chief ambassadors of this new community of Jesus. One of the methods Paul used to enlarge this community was writing letters of encouragement, advice and teaching to the new believers. He began what we now call the New Testament over a decade before any of the Gospels were written down. In the summer of 61 AD, 28 years after Jesus had been crucified by the Romans, one of the members of this new community decided to write down the story and teachings of Jesus. Up until this time, the story of Jesus had just been passed on by word of mouth. This young man, who was called Mark, was a close friend of Peter, the disciple of Jesus. And no doubt listening to the stories of Peter, Mark sits down and writes the story and teachings of Jesus. He doesn't mention Jesus' birth or teenage years. He just gets straight into the core of the story of Christ. The story of Jesus was about a new kingdom, a new empire that was mightier than Rome. Mark's opening line to his gospel, which is innocuous to our Gentile modern day ears, was actually high treason at the time the Romans were in power. Mark was really mocking the Romans by this opening line and their coins and the claim that Caesar was the Son of God. He was also mocking the idea that the Roman Empire was good news for everyone. The beginning of the good news of Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. With those simple words, Mark invades people's minds and gives them a fresh hope that maybe there is a new kingdom, a new empire that's coming that really is good news, and that Jesus really is the Son of God, and it's a kingdom of love where God loves us intensely. And so the first gospel was published. Of course, there was no printing press, but the writings of Mark would have been duly copied and passed around among the believers to teach the teachings of Christ. On our family walk along Hadrian's Wall, we came to what's known as the Sycamore Gap, It's a little gap in the wall where the wall has crumbled, and there's a lone sycamore tree that stands there. And I think this really represents that teaching of Mark, that the brutality, like the stone wall the Romans had built, the brutality of Rome would eventually fall to this very gentle growing, this new seed, this new sprout coming through the ground, something of life and hope. And this sycamore tree at the gap in Hadrian's Wall seems to me to symbolise the hope that the Gospel of Mark began to bring to those under Roman occupation. At first it was just a small breach in the wall. It was something that grew very slowly and almost unnoticed, but it became something much more beautiful and something that outlasted the Roman Empire. Thanks for watching today. Do connect with us on social media. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube by liking this video, and also subscribe to this channel and click the little bell icon so that you'll get notifications of videos in the future. If you go on our website, you can also subscribe to our email list, where we'll send you notifications about what we're doing and future videos. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.